Hi everyone, it's Devin Pinkston from Identity Insights Counseling in Grand Junction, Colorado. I am a gender therapist here on the western slope of Colorado. For those of you who might not have seen my videos already, it is the month of October, spooky month. I know a lot of people out there, a lot of my friends anyway, they really love the month of October because it's getting a little bit colder. There's haunted houses all over the place, pumpkins to carve, pumpkin spice lattes if that's your thing, scary movies, you name it. So hopefully if you are an October fan out there, that you are getting to experience all of the wonderful things for October and Halloween time. Well, I wanted to actually do a video update because I haven't done one in maybe a little over a month. As I've told you before in some of my other videos, I'm not one to do video updates every so often. I'm not like other YouTubers where I've got to check in with everyone every week or every day or once a month. I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. I am also a mental health therapist, so I am a little bit busy at my office typically, dealing with some of the people that I see in my office and paperwork. So I just put a video out there whenever I feel there's been an issue that has come up frequently that I need to address and would like to address with everyone else. But before I get into that, I did want to bring something up, something positive and something I've noticed that's been going on since I've started a YouTube channel. One of the positive things is that I've noticed some people are outreaching me from all over the world, which is amazing. I appreciate you guys who have done so, who have given me words of encouragement, who have appreciated the information I put out there. So thank you guys so much, because as I said, I'm not a professional YouTuber whatsoever. So I'm very happy that the content I'm putting out seems relevant and feels relevant to you guys. I did want to also say that I have noticed some people are outreaching me from different states, from all over the world, and are seeking gender therapy related services. I did want to let you know that if you are not a resident of Colorado, I unfortunately cannot see you for any of those services. I know, dear, it's very sad. I wish I could see people all over the place for those things, but because we don't, as counselors, have a national standardized system for how counselors, psychologists, anyone who works in mental health, I can't necessarily speak for other fields, but anyone who works in mental health, it's not a national registration process. So licensure and the qualifications for that look very different for everyone in different states. So, because of that, I've only been licensed in Colorado. I've worked to obtain that here. So if you are not licensed here, or excuse me, if you are not a resident here, I won't be able to see you for gender counseling purposes. And if you're in another state and you're wanting to know who I can connect you to that's outside of Colorado, that's one that's kind of tricky too, because I'm familiar with providers, organizations on the western slope and on the front range of this state, but I'm not very familiar with what some of those resources may look like in other states. It took me a couple years to kind of get used to what's available out here, what's available across the state, and who are reliable individuals to refer some of my LGBTQ clients to. So I'm not going to maybe readily have that information for you guys. If you're asking me who's somebody I can connect to in Michigan, for instance, I would highly encourage you, if you are looking for a mental health counselor though, who can maybe provide gender therapy services for you, to start with psychologytoday.com. That's a great site because you can kind of narrow down what counselor you're looking for based on your zip code, based on your need for like anxiety, depression, gender related topics. You name it, there's a lot of other like narrowing factors that you can do to kind of really hone in on somebody who might be able to help you better than just here's a great list of everyone. And then if you're looking for other services, maybe hormone replacement therapy or medical services like surgery, I would say also look into maybe some local or national organizations around you that already service the LGBTQ and ally community. Just email, call them, ask them, hey, I'm looking for someone who can help me with this. Are you familiar with anyone who can provide this service for me? And they should be able to better assist you. All right. So now that we've kind of gone over that, let's go into what this video is about today. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the topics that are coming up now in my office, with one in particular being gender norms and gender privilege. So this is one that I've actually come across and I've started talking to my clients a little bit more about within this past year. So I would say from maybe January to present. And I read a great article. I'm going to have to post the name of the author and of the article and the name of it maybe down below in the little comment section, because I can't really recall who that individual is right now. But it was a great article talking to trans men and their experiences pre-transition and how they were treated by society, by family members, friends, and what their perception of that was following their medical transition. So this is a topic that I bring up now a lot because I want my clients to kind of recognize where are you coming from right now and how society perceives you and how you perceive society to perceive you. It's kind of an inception thing going on there. And then if you've already started taking transitional steps, even if it's just social or even if it is medical, what are some differences that you are now seeing following that process in how people are interacting and behaving around you? So one of the common things that I hear from my trans male clients, for instance, pre-transition, is that it's difficult for people to see them as being men. Their family, for instance, their friends might still see them as their biological sex, so seeing them as female, unfortunately, and thus maybe treating them that way. So some of my clients have discussed some of the treatment to look like people not respecting their opinions, being talked over, feeling like they don't have a voice in certain situations. But post-transition, their experience tends to change. So I've had some clients come in who maybe if I haven't been able to see their before and after, at least discuss their after, and that they feel that their opinion is more valued, that their voice is heard, that they're looked to for guidance and advice, much more so than they were pre-transition. For some of my trans female clients, I am receiving the opposite information. So for some of them, I'm hearing that they're afraid to take some of those first transitional steps and that they feel fearful in dressing in more feminine ways or feel concerned about wearing makeup or styling their hair differently. And some of those come from concepts they've learned as young children, sometimes growing up in this society where they feel that friends and family have kind of instilled in them that being male and masculine is kind of the pinnacle of what you need to be in society. And if you're to transition to female, you're somehow less. And I don't necessarily agree with that concept. And I think it speaks to a larger issue that we're all maybe facing, and I would say at least American society, of how we view cisgendered men and women. But these are real things that people are going through. And then to talk about concepts of privilege. Now I know sometimes when you bring up the word privilege, some people are like, yes, let's discuss that. That is something important we need to go over. And other people go, ugh, can we change the subject? But concepts of privilege are definitely things to talk about, especially with somebody who's taking those transitional steps. Because if you are maybe going from being ultra feminine, for instance, maybe you're hyper feminine and then you say, no, I've only been doing this because I felt that's what I was supposed to do, I'm actually masculine, you might be losing out on certain privileges or the perception that you're losing out. For instance, one of them might be as simple as I used to get free drinks at the bar and now I'm not experiencing that as a man. People aren't just offering me free beverages when I go out. And maybe as going from male to female, it might be that my opinion has been respected when I was presenting more masculinely, but then going from male to female, I'm experiencing some of my coworkers maybe shying away from me and not, asking me about my opinion or asking me for my input in certain situations. Now again, those are just examples. Those are not always necessarily things that everyone's going to experience, or things that even you as the individual watching might have experienced. But it's definitely important to think about. And it's important to think about because you want to pay attention to your emotional well-being. if pre-transitional phase you felt like you were experiencing challenges or difficulties with your emotion, but then after transition you felt maybe differently, you felt more positive, that's something to take note of. Or if the opposite happens, where you felt positive before and negatively afterwards, you want to just know, what's the best way that I can manage coping for myself? And I think these conversations need to be talked about a little bit more, because it's something that people don't readily think about. And I know it's something that cisgendered individuals don't always consider, because cisgendered individuals aren't looking to say, hey, I'm a different gender than what my physical appearance presents as. So some food for thought. Definitely share this information with your friends if it's not a concept that's been brought up before, just to kind of consider, how am I really taking care of myself emotionally? Am I paying attention to my mental health? Or have I even recognized that maybe some of the feelings that I'm having currently might be related to this concept, that I have gained and lost, or lost and gained different types of social norms or privileges? Alright guys, well that's all I wanted to leave you with today. If you would like to request any specific videos or topics, please feel free to visit my website and just go ahead and leave me a message through my website at www.devonpinkston.com. And again, I'm just going to reiterate that I am very grateful for everyone reaching out to me who has requested gender therapy services. But if you are not in the state of Colorado, I unfortunately cannot move you forward in that process, because I am only licensed in Colorado, at least for now. We will see about the future and what that holds for me. Alright guys, feel free to follow me on social media. I'm most active on Facebook and Twitter. I have an Instagram. I don't pay too much attention to that one. I'm a millennial, but there's only so many social medias that I can pay attention to at once. Being a busy individual. So feel free to follow me on Facebook at Devon Pinkston Counselor, and on Twitter at Identity Insight. So it's the word identity and then insight, but take off the T, the S and the T at the end, and then a number 1. So Identity Insight 1. Alright guys, take care and be on the lookout for future video updates.